Live from the J.C. Newman Cigar Studios and the Gurkha Cigar Studios in the great state of New Hampshire. Welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Pat Chamberlain.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tabacco Show. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTabacco.com, and I'm joined once again by my good friend and co-host, Mr. Pat Chamberlain. Pat, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm kind of still getting over a good chest cold. So I've had this cough. I'm still 50-50 on if I'm going to smoke something now, but because I just kind of got it to stop. The last several nights have been rough, but I'm here. I'm feeling the best I've felt in like 7 days. What's new with you? Anything good? Anything juicy? Anything interesting? What's going on out there? Any gears to grind? Come on, you got to give me something.
No, I have nothing really. I mean, I got a lot of, work's busy and stressful, but like it is for anyone. So beyond that, really nothing. I have a lot of trials next month, so I'm in prep phase for that.
Keeping those streets
I
clean,
just
right?
Trying my best to.
Trying your best. You don't get enough credit, Pat. You're out there putting the bad guys away, and you're doing it without proper caffeination in the courtroom. So I applaud you for your sacrifice. I really do. But either way, it's great to be here. We weren't on last week again because I was sick. So I made the there's a hair in here that's driving me nuts. It's like one of those when I look at it, I don't see it, but then like as I'm looking away, it's just like in my eye line. And I don't know. That's annoying. So yeah, we sat it out last week because it was like the beginning, and I was really feeling like I wanted to die. And smoking is not the best choice to be doing that. So, but we're here. We're back. We have a guest tonight. I wasn't gonna miss this show. We have one of our best guests of the year. I know. I shouldn't say that, but it's true. I mean, it's just he's always a huge favorite when we have him on the show. So we look forward to him coming on. And I think most of you guys already know who it is. Because, we promote it, so I'm not going to keep you guys waiting. You don't deserve that. You guys are too good to us. It's the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Steve Saka of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Steven, good evening.
Yeah. Am I in this thing? I can't even tell.
You're in here. They can see you.
Oh, okay. I was flipped on the Facebook page, so I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, so I get a little confused sometimes. And as Matt and Pat will tell you, I was a bit technically challenged getting into the channel tonight. I have some sort of technical problem that's pissing me off. Isn't it amazing how this simple shit that none of us had access to, 20 years ago? I mean, look, I grew up in an era with no cell phones, no streaming, no internet, no anything, right, as a kid. Now, it's so frustrating when this crap doesn't work. Like, it just chews you up. It's so annoying. It just makes me feel like drowning puppies and pummeling young children and lighting things on fire. Yeah. Will that get you banned? I don't know. Maybe it will.
I don't think
I'm
so.
helping America out. I'm going to get Matt Tobacco kicked off the internet. How about that?
Wow. You're starting off the show on that foot, huh? Okay. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of people would like to see that. Just saying.
How you guys doing, man?
Doing good. We're still alive, just living. Wow, what an entrance.
You said you were sick, huh?
Yeah. It went through the house. So, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, we had it.
I can take a bunch of NyQuil after this. I'm gonna go for this.
Yeah, we had it run through the office last week, and we were down 3 people, which is like 33% of our workforce. So it was a rough week last week.
Yeah, I know it's what, part of it, what I think it is we actually, September and like that first week kind of ish, almost first week of October, it was like still kind of warm, and all of a sudden it was just like boom, all rain and cold, and I think that shift, because as soon as it happened, it was like all of a sudden it was just like, oh,
Come on,
God.
dude. You've lived in New England how long in your life?
My whole life, 32 years, but I don't know. It just all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Andy, what are you talking about? It got cold. Oh no, it got down to 52 degrees. 46
And dry. You know, that lack of moisture dries you out, and then you get sick. You know, I watched a video on it.
Oh, good God. It's like from his mother. Put on a hat. You're gonna get a cold. Oh my God, are you wearing a hat?
I'm just trying to justify, okay?
That's sick, man. That's the deal. And we all get sick.
I know, it sucks. It sucks. Last year, I will say, so like the first year we had my daughter, obviously like we were sick every like 6 days because she was getting everything that there was for the first time.
Of course.
And then last year we did pretty good last winter. We did pretty good because I think, you know, she was still kind of immune, but now it's like, all right, what happens this winter? Do we go back to like we're just sick every other day, or
wait till she goes to school? She will be literally your own personal living petri dish. She will bring everything home and
She
deliver
does.
it on a silver platter.
she goes to daycare, so she's
you go.
yeah, and that's why I was surprised. I'm like, wow, that's pretty good.
Come on, and you know how that works, man.
Mm.
Kids touch more stuff with their mouths than they touch with their fingers. It feels like
She's touching even more stuff now. Oh my God, she was trapped in that cast for so long that now that she can move around, she's like, I want to get everywhere because I got to make up for all that lost time when I was sitting there like a vegetable. So she's climbing up on the counter. She's touching everything, and I caught her with she climbed up into the sink today in the kitchen. She got the scrubbing brush for the dishes, and she's like scrubbing her teeth with it. I'm like, that's not a toothbrush. Take that away.
Oh,
God. You know. I don't have to tell you. You know.
as you get more children,
Yeah.
you become less and less concerned. By
Yeah.
the time you get to the third one, it's pretty much you let it be feral. You just don't worry. Like, yeah, he fell down the stairs. He's fine.
The
You know
first
what I
two
mean?
didn't die. This one will be all right.
That's what I mean. You see how durable they really are. And you're
Yeah.
like, no problem.
And Nicole worries more than I do too. She's like, "Oh my God." She farts the wrong way. She's like, "Oh, is she all right?" I'm like, "She's fine. I think we're gonna be all right."
I know it's a time difference, and I'm not encouraging it, but they didn't baby proof a house when we had, when we were kids. There was none of that.
Right.
There was no car seats. There was no seatbelt usage. My mom would hot box us with 2 packs of Pall Mall in the car. What are we talking about here, right? She'd have like a vodka Ricky going in the sippy cup. I mean, oh, he's crying. Give him a little vodka. He'll be fine.
Yeah, my Nicole's mother is from Ireland, and we were talking about it the other day. She's like, "Yeah, when we were kids, Mom just put whiskey in our mouth and was like, there you go.
There you go.
You'll be all right."
Calm down. Tone it down a bit. Yeah, it's so different. I'm not encouraging any of these parenting methods, but we all survived as a species. It wasn't. We didn't end up the detriment of it. So I don't know. But hey, I'm glad to hear she's doing well. It seems like she's gone through a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of challenges that you wish on nobody. So hopefully in the end it all works out for the best.
So far, so good. It has been a very difficult year, but right now we're doing okay. She does have to go back under the knife again next year. We don't really know much about that yet, but hope we don't run into the same problems we ran into this year. So we'll see. Should be exciting. Fingers crossed. At least she won't be in a full blown cast this time though. So that's half the battle. But anyway, we're here. It's Wednesday night. We have Steve here with us. Which again, Steve, thank you for coming on. I know how busy you are, and all the stuff you got going on. So I appreciate you taking the time to be on with us.
No, it's my pleasure. I feel bad for the viewing audience because I can't imagine there isn't anything they've ever heard me not say before. It's got to get a little repetitive, right?
I mean, to some degree. I mean, but you could say that about anybody. I mean, everybody in the business. Everyone's making cigars and tariffs and California and Texas and all the other stuff that everyone's dealing with. And
yeah, but I mean me particularly. I mean, how many of these fucking podcasts have I done for God's sake? You gotta be. I can keep track. I've got to be like well over like 300 of these suckers.
Really?
God,
it's because you talk so much, so that's why.
why is that, Pat?
It's because you talk so much. That's why. You don't shut the fuck up. I'm just kidding.
Wow. Whoa.
Ooh, shots
I'm
fired.
joking.
Whoa.
Whoa. Oh, great.
Oh,
Okay, you know what? We'll monk this shit out. I won't say another goddamn word. Let's go. You got
Good
10
going,
rounds.
Pat. Good going, Pat. Jesus Christ. You know, from the guy, you got one guy who does talk a lot with love, and you have another guy who doesn't really say that much at all. And the one time he opens his mouth, then he gets the guy who talks.
Shut the fuck up.
You know, it's like, what are we doing? Like, what the fuck's going on? Like, this is.
you know what? I was just talking about one of the cigars Saka made. All right, he took it personally. I'm talking about.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah.
You know,
What is that?
He's talking about the brulee bundle you did with the flavored tips and the
Oh, yeah.
the STFU. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I owed
Yeah, you know.
somebody an answer to that. Somebody asked me which one was which, and I couldn't remember. I said, "Tag me again, and I'll look it up." But I didn't. I'm a bad person. Can't keep up with everything, man.
You get too much going on.
I do have a lot going on. A little. It's been a little crazy year.
Well, before we get too deep into the weeds, I got a couple of things I'm going to do, a couple of announcements I'm going to make about what we're going to do. First, we have our two segments that we start off the show with, our cigar segment and our accessory segment, and then we'll do a Perdomo trivia segment later on. And then tonight, we're going to do, I know it's kind of middle of the month, we usually do it at the end, but since Steve's here, it's very appropriate. We're going to do another Saka giveaway that we've been doing all year long. And I purposely knew you were coming, and I said, I'm going to do it now because you'll be here, and why not? So I don't have any... I don't have anything specific planned because I said, well, Steve's here, so let's just roll with it because he's a genius and we'll do something with it.
Make shit up, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Hey, that's, I said, you know what, that's the best way to play this round. So we will be giving away a box, as usual, a box of DTT cigars, as well as a Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust mug that are quite beautiful. Do you make those by hand in the house? You and Cindy? Just rolling clay?
Yeah, I wish. I'd be doing the whole ghost thing.
With Patrick Swayze. I'd pay money to watch you do that.
Yeah, why not?
Oh man, that's gonna be fun. But anyway, let's talk about what we're smoking first. Our cigars once again brought to you by the number 2 guyscigars.com of Two Guys Cigars, the store now. It's no longer Two Guys Smoke Shop, in case you missed that news. TwoGuysCigars.com. Head over there today for an amazing selection of cigars and accessories from brands you know and love, and maybe a few new ones you haven't quite discovered yet. Head over there today, place an order, as well as, I believe Dave carries just about every SKU you have, right, Steve?
Nah, I don't. I know he does online. I don't think he does in the stores. I don't know. I don't keep track.
Well, at least on the website, you can head over there and you can find Steve's collection and order some of it today. It's fantastic. If you haven't smoked Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust and you're a serious cigar smoker, you need to get your fucking life together. If you're a casual cigar smoker, we'll give you a pass, but you need to discover all things Saka today at the number 2, guyscigars.com. Also, Steve, I don't know what happened, but we lost your background.
Really? Yeah, you did.
What happened? What did we do here? Let's see if we can.
Everyone knows it's a fake brick wall now. He's exposed.
Yeah. Well, look, I used to have one that was fabric, so it was kind of a step up until it didn't work. And then it didn't work.
It's back now. I don't know what happened, but we'll make sure that doesn't happen again. Oh, you know what I think it is? I think I got to do it for each. I thought it was automatic, but I got to do it for each of the... Oh, that's annoying. Why would they do it like that? That's annoying.
Like every scene you change.
Yeah, they should. I thought it was just like an automatic for his feed, but no, they make you. Oh, that's stupid. I don't like that. Sorry. I don't use that feature very often. I usually don't have to, but I had to bail Steve out, once again.
My fancy, expensive whatever doesn't work. So.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm gonna order a new one.
Oh, look at that. We're on the fly. You're getting behind the scenes. Steve exploring new equipment. This will turn into a 3-day ordeal. He'll research all the cameras. He'll find one that he kind of likes, but it's not quite there. Long story short, he'll find something and he'll be like, it's pretty good, but I don't know if I really love it, but it does work.
None of this shit works right. That's all I'm saying.
I meticulously looked for a camera on Amazon and found one.
Ooh, look at Pat. Trying to mock Steve already. Wow, we're only 18 minutes in. Wow. You got shots for Steve tonight. I'm surprised. I didn't know you were gonna really. Wow, you do not. Yeah, you do. You do. You're already causing trouble. Steve, what are you smoking? I'm gonna let you go first because you're the captain.
I am smoking a DTT 10th Jubilee.
Oh, very nice. Very, very nice. Patrick, what did you select this evening?
So I have the new Robusto Umbagog bronze bag that I went to Twins today. I saw the new Umbagog display shelving, and right inside was a brand new. So yeah, I'm smoking that. It's actually really good. It's a little more mild than the Petite Robusto. I forget what the other size is called. It's like a thinner Robusto, right?
Yeah, it's like a 5x48, so roughly there. So yeah, it makes sense to be a little milder. Almost always when you
It's really
good. I'm surprised I had the trays already. I can't even believe that's true. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it looks good too. I mean, for a while we've been looking for something like that. We used to have, like when I was working there, we took some other brand trays and we were trying to cut the Umbagog logos off the paper and make something presentable, but it just didn't work. So it's good that there's something there now because a lot of people want the singles, and we did bundle only for a long period of time, but it's a lot of people wanted the singles, and once we started doing singles, they sold much quicker. So it's good that there's displays now.
You have to remember when Umbagog started, I didn't really care about selling singles because originally we didn't make Umbagog all the time. We made Umbagog like every 3 months, every 4 months. I mean, we would go through long stretches with no Umbagog because it was always a byproduct of the material. And if I didn't have ugly material, then I had no reason to make Umbagog. Now I have ugly material all the time because we make so many broadleaf cigars that it's become a steady thing. So, and then I had made a tray, but it was too big. It was too bulky. It was too large. It had really good shelf presence, but I don't think the retailers liked it. And then it was just one of those things that it's like all the little things. There's so many things I should do that I don't do. And this is something I should have done like 4 years ago. And I just finally took the time and did it. And it turned out pretty nice. I think the feedback I'm getting from the retailers is they really love this design. I think other companies are going to copy it because it makes a lot of sense. It really does. The only negative thing is it's very expensive to do that, right? To make an individual tray per size. I mean, when you make one large tray, the one large tray costs more than any of those single trays, but here you are making 6 separate trays, where the other way you make one long tray. So maybe other companies won't do it because of the cost. We'll see. I don't know. But it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
it also makes sense for that retailer that only carries like 3 SKUs of Umbagog, right? So then you only get the trays that you need for the shelf you're willing to dedicate to the brand. So I think I know how exciting cigar trays, but they do make a difference.
This is the real meat and potatoes right here.
I mean, from a retail perspective, it's good. Like I know, like Brew Estate used like a similar looking tray, but it was one big tray, and you had to kind of put like these kind of crappy dividers inside depending on the size and how many cigars you're going to display. Right. And that's what we tried using and kind of covering, and it just didn't work. But the individual trays are it's just easy. It's very simple. It fits well on the shelf. There's enough room for the other DTT products because the trays are just efficiently sized. So.
And by the way, I am smoking the Miche Rita Fino Largo, which I haven't had in a while, but I love this size, and it's burning great. So keep up the work, Steve. They're delicious as always.
Yeah, we do a lot of those 48 ring gauge cigars. We tend to we're able to get away with it. We have enough of a devoted customer base that is on the more experienced side of smoking, and they're more acceptable to a 46, 48 ring gauge, and 48 happens to be probably my personal favorite ring gauge. 48 to 52 is where I tend to smoke, but 48 is my favorite, and I'm able to get away with a 48 pretty much in every one of our core lines. And amazingly, it happens to be a SKU that most retailers opt to keep on the shelf because it gets enough volume. Where, I mean, very few companies have a lot of 48 ring gauges. They might have one or two smattered in here or there, but we probably have probably 14 of our SKUs are 48 ring gauge. It's a lot.
I remember when I first started smoking, I really liked 52, 54, 56. I got into Gordos for a while. I loved the 60.
Yeah.
And then I started kind of working my way back down, and I was just smoking a lot of 56, a lot of 54. And then the last like 2 years, dude, 52, 48, 46 is kind of like my happy zone too. I've been just I don't like them. I don't like them too. I don't mind them long. Don't mind them short. I like them. I like a longer cigar. Usually, like I like Churchills more now than I used to. I like Lonsdale's more now. Um, you know, I don't know. I'm with you on that, and I don't know what it is, but like I used to. For a long time I didn't have anything against them. I just always kind of shied away. And then, like, the more I smoked, and just as more time has gone on, I'm like, nah. I've been finding myself going smaller in size, and I've just been enjoying smaller sizes, mostly across the board. So much better, and I really don't know why, but I just do. And this is a great size. I really do like this size. This
I
size in a
find
lot of
like
different blends is great.
I think like just with reviewing cigars and smoking kind of with a purpose like that, I find that the 48 to 52 is the best in the sense of like my pace of smoking. Like I'm not a fast smoker. I probably take a draw every like minute and a half, 2 minutes. And with the 48 to 52s, I find that the burn's always proper with that kind of a pace. There's people that smoke really quickly and they have a Corona, and like the thing has like that, like that spike from the embers inside, and it's burning too fast. So I think a lot of it does play into kind of how fast and the manner that you smoke. But yeah, 48 to 52 is definitely my sweet spot.
Although, Steve, I know that you had some smaller sizes you released this year, but you also had at least one that was a larger size. I
No, we
remember.
don't. I don't think we've released anything. Look, the Salida Red was a 46 ring gauge, right? 6 1/4 by 46. We haven't done any small releases in a long time. I'd like to do Coronas. The problem is retailers just won't stock them, you know. And even when the cigars, like we had originally in the Sober Mesa, one of my favorite original Sober Mesas was the Corona Grande. It was a 5 by
Yeah.
42, and it had its fans. It was still selling, but it wasn't selling enough for most retailers to dedicate shelf space to it. So, but I'm gonna cheat code them next year and force them to buy Coronas. I'm gonna do a Corona sampler because I have Coronas in all of our line. So I'm gonna make a sampler of a bunch of Coronas, and a couple of them have been released in the past to then ultimately be discontinued, but most of them they'll be all new. No one's ever even smoked them other than me. And that way, given my experience with the GFY Lancero collection, if you put it in a sampler like that, they'll buy anything. So I'm pretty sure that they'll be game for buying the Corona sampler too. And that way, like I don't know how many they'll buy, but I mean, I can't imagine we'll sell less than probably 4,000 boxes of them. So there'll be Coronas out there for people to try them if they want them, and I think the retailers they'll bite on that because it's a quick turn kind of item for them. They'll have demand for it, and it'll go. Now, whether that ultimately leads to being able to keep a Corona on the shelf, I'm doubtful. They just won't stop. Look, and consumers won't buy them either because they don't like the price. Consumers, they feel like they should be significantly cheaper because they're significantly smaller, but they're not significantly cheaper. They actually require more time and labor to make them correctly. So from a labor perspective, they're actually higher in cost. So the only savings there is in the material of tobacco, which works out to be on average between it and a double Corona, 15 to 17% lower factory floor cost. But consumers don't want to spend 15% less than what a double Corona costs. They want to spend literally almost half of what a double Corona costs. And I get it, because you smoke the one for 35, 40 minutes. You smoke the other one for an hour and a half or so, but it's not the way the math works. And I'll be able to get away with it in a Corona sampler, the fair value of what it's worth, and they'll sell. But in the long run, unless there's some general change in the industry and the way consumers, what they opt to smoke, I mean, I don't see Coronas coming back, to be honest with you. Not in the near term.
It's too bad. It's a great size, and kind of like to what I just said before. Like I used to like, Coronas. I don't care about small cigars, but now I find myself being like, does this come in a Corona? You guys make this in a Corona?
The other thing too, though, is when you make something in a Corona, it's never the same, because when you get down to 42 ring gauge, you can't make the exact same blend. It's not, you don't have enough space to work with.
Right.
So it requires all the blends to be modified. So they never are good one-to-one representations. When you go to a 42, it's kind of it's a thing unto its own. So it ends up being Sobremesa-like, Mi Querida-like, Sin Compromiso-like. You know what I mean? It's never tastes the same as the 48s or the 50s or 52s or 54s. But
Almost like a spin-off.
yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
It's 42 ring gauge. I mean, can you get 4 fillers in there? Yeah, but man, it's a lot of work with the scissors to get 4 fillers into a Corona. It really is. So, like the Sobremesa Corona did have 4 fillers in it, but the Mi Querida Corona only has 3. The Sin Compromiso only has 3. It's so it's an edited recipe. It has to be, just because of the girth.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about that, and especially with filler, like how many leaves you use on this, how many leaves you use on this, and this and that, and just not so much on the show, but just in conversations about different, with manufacturers with certain blends and whatever, just what they use, and I know like that's also one of the reasons why the Lanceros is such a topic of discussion sometimes. Well, because they're so thin and they're so narrow, you can't put too much in there, and then you get a binder and a filler there that suddenly become so bright.
These Lancero blends typically only have 1 to 1.5 different fillers in them.
Right.
If you're in a 38 ring gauge, that's where you're at. There's not enough. Anybody that tells you they're making a 3 blend, 4 blend Lancero is just full of shit. And it's not true. There's just not enough space. The only way you could do it is if you made a short fill. Made a short fill, then yeah, you could do it. But a Lancero, the problem with that is, in a Lancero, then you would end up wearing it all, because in order to get a short fill blend to hold its ash, you need to have some sort of long filler trippa in there. It's typically something that has a relatively significant rib size in it to provide some sort of structural integrity to maintain the ash. So there you go. That one leaf that's necessary would end up filling the entire Lancero, even if you did it in short fill. So it's Lanceros just don't work well for multi-blend type recipes or multi-filler recipes.
Yeah. I know we've had that discussion on the show a lot of time. I mean, we also did the Spare Nose show with Coop, and Coop's very open about his love-hate relationship with Lanceros, to put it gently, and which he likes to also remind people, I gave Lancero Cigar of the Year twice, so I don't hate them completely, but yeah, I mean it's true. I love Lanceros, especially when they're done right, but I know they're tricky.
I had never heard of, I'm sure, right? Do you even know what they were?
I believe one of them was an Adventura
Okay.
from
I've heard of ADV
yeah,
before. So.
yeah.
He always has all, he
I
always
know that
has
was
all
one of
types
them.
of weird stuff on that list that I'm like, what? What is this? Where is this from? What universe did he find this cigar? Like,
On Coop's list?
yeah,
Yeah.
there's
He
always some crazy shit in there.
he digs deep. You got to give him credit. He does, he really digs deep.
Oh, he just does it out of spite. He just does it to be contrarian.
I don't know if you know this, but we've said it publicly, so it's nothing. It's not like I'm really letting any secrets out of the bag, but I'll say it to you, if you didn't know. But there's been several times when like you've released something, and I get it right away, and I smoke it, and I'm like, this is fantastic. This is gonna make the list this year. And he's like, I don't know, and I'm like, give it a few months. I don't know. It was all right. And he comes back to me every time, especially with your stuff, every time, and he goes, "I'll tell you, this is you were right. I was wrong. You were right. This is really smoking good." And I'm like, "I told you." And so he comes back, and then boom, it's on his list, and I'm like, I told you. It's gonna make a list, and he's like, "Yeah, I know. It was good. It was good. It aged a little good, better. It was good." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I told you so." 3 times. I think 3 of your cigars. There's other brands too, but at least 3 of yours. I've told him like, no, just wait, and then he comes back and he's like, nope, no, this is fantastic. I'm like, yeah, I told you.
I think this year the lists are gonna be really messy for me because I released so much this year. And all of it's been pretty good. So I think it's gonna be really hard for it to not get all divided up in a million different directions. When you got what? You got Salida Red, you got Gorilla Gorda, you got the Bronzeback Robusto, you got
You have the Duque?
Red Meat Lovers for Tonga.
Yeah.
You're Duque, you got Kana. I don't know whether I don't know. Will you're a Duque count? Well, I guess it depends on who makes the list, right? Whether they'll allow that or not allow that, because that's a limited release product. So it may not be allowed to be on a lot of the lists.
That would be
Same thing
eligible. That would be eligible for my list, Coop's list, Half Wheels list.
Really?
Yeah, Dojo's list. That should be eligible. When did it ship? That shipped early this year, right?
Yeah, I shipped in like February.
Yeah,
March.
that should be eligible for that. That should be, and like Dojo, they do like a limited list. I think like they do lists for like different categories, and they do like a master list.
They're just covering all their bases so they can make everyone a little happy. That's what all you guys do. You all make your list. You make sure you include a little of this and a little of that, and you try to cover it. Look, I get it. I understand the game. It's fine. It's the way it works. But
It's no game. It's just how it boils. Believe me, at least with us, like it's it's tough to whittle that down.
Get ourselves. Everybody's list makes sure that there's multiple brands in there and not too many from any one company, and that's with intent because you want to spread the love. I get it. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It just is what it is.
Well, that's a lot coming from a guy who wins the consensus every year.
Look, and maybe this year I won't. Look,
I don't know. You got too many releases to go around.
Lies the rub. If I have so much, then it all fights one another. So therefore, there doesn't end up being 1 or 2 clear cigars that end up on most people's lists because here's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to be like, okay, one of these cigars has got to be on the list, but I can't have too much Dunbar on my list. So which one am I going to pick? I'm going to pick Salida Red. And the other guy's going to be like, okay, of these 4, which should I like the best? Okay, I'm going to put this one. And so it can work against you having a lot of stuff out there. It's actually much cleaner to have just 1, 2 really solid releases. If you're playing for the list, less quantity actually works to your benefit as far as getting on the consensus list. When you have so much, it kind of works against you in a way, but it is what it is. I didn't do it to make a list or not make a list. I made it because I knew 2025 was going to be a miserably bad year, and I wanted to load up really heavy so that I knew that I would have a lot of built-in sales that would end up basically letting us have another up year because I knew it was going to be a rough year. I felt it in my bones. It was the way I knew it was going to be, and it turns out it has been a really rough year. A lot of people are, they were down last year and they're down again this year. And economy is really weird. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't even know. I can't even tell you what the economy is. So I kind of economically stack the deck in my favor by, having all of these product releases, understanding that might be what's going to be necessary to make it through a difficult year and not end up staying flat or regretfully even going down. So, that was the plan. And it luckily for me, it's worked so far. And I can't see it slowing because we still got dropping. We still got limited production leche burra. We still got emerald fish. We still got the 10th anniversary. We still have this year's holiday, which is really good. And we have the two samplers. The essential sampler won't matter to most of the hardcore cigar junkies because they've already smoked all of my core, but it'll work really well for the online guys for a way to try Dunbarton and all the core blends in a Toro size. And then the deep cut sampler, I think that's going to do really, really well. I mean, because the deep cut samplers, my 10 favorite personal cigars plus a bonus new one, a word of Saka. So I think that I think that'll do well. So I really, economically, I set this year's release schedule, understanding what the economy was going to be like, and well, thank God I did, because who knows where I'd be right now had I kind of taken a little bit slower of a year.
Yeah, and there was even some stuff that's happened this year that I don't think anyone even saw coming. Even if, excuse me, even if there was a feeling that it was going to be a weird year, which I think that's a very fair assessment to make. It's very murky. The economy's murky. I think that's a good word. It's like you said, like, is it good? Is it bad? It's murky. But there was definitely some things that happened this year that I don't think people really knew was coming. Or
for the tariffs.
What's that?
Couldn't plan for the tariffs.
Nope, that's one of them.
We were at no tariff, and then we were at 18, and then we were at 19 that never happened, but then 10 really happened, and then now in Nicaragua we're at 18 again, and maybe in November, depending on how the Supreme Court rules, maybe we'll be back at 0. I don't know. So I mean, that's a lot of people, in a single year. So
yeah,
I mean, it's actually been worse than inflation, because inflation was running at about 9 to 11 points roughly, but you kind of felt inflation. You knew inflation. It was happening to you day in, day out. I kept paying more and more for stuff. You kept paying more and more for stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's kind of baked in the cake. It's not the same as, oh, here's instantly an 18% cost increase. What are you going to do with this?
Right.
So it's a much different scenario. So the tariffs have been really, really, really challenging. I mean, we haven't done the second tariff increase yet. I'm waiting to see what happens in November and kind of go from there. So right now we've been underwater now for the last 60 days roughly, and it sucks. But I don't know. Just such a hassle to just change everything all the time. It would have been our third change to price this year. I mean, really?
Yeah.
At what point does it just? I mean, it's no fun on our end because we don't make any more money. We just keep making things cost more, but we don't make more profit. Now, retailers, on the other hand, they actually do make more profit because they margin all this shit. Now, I don't blame them. It's the game of being in retail. They margin because in the end, if my shit becomes too expensive, well, they'll just sell somebody else's stuff at a lower price point, but they still make the same keystone margin, given whatever their built-in discounts are that they give their locker members or their box buyers. But I mean, it's always been the same equation for them. So prices going, when a retailer complains about price increases, I always feel like beating them around the head because they're just stupid. Because the reality is, for them, it's actually the only way they ever make more money. If prices never went up, how would they ever cover their extra cost of rent and their extra labor costs and their extra electricity? So all those inflationary pressures, they have no way to raise their price because their price is based on the product. So they actually need the product to go up. And if you're a heavy inventory retailer, it really helps you a lot because now what you have is if you're whatever, a Corona or a Two Guys or a Cigars International, it makes everything that you've already previously purchased in your warehouse worth that much more without you outlaying any more dollars. So yeah, it's one of those things when I hear a retailer talk about price increases, I feel like they're just doing it to kind of have solidarity with their customers, but in reality, it actually works to their benefit. It does.
Wow. It's a good point. I think this question that was asked earlier, who hurt you, Steve Saka, is kind of
Oh,
appropriate again.
everybody, come on, man. Mother, the system,
It's
come
kind of
on.
doom and gloom.
Yeah. Hey,
Also,
if you guys want to talk rainbows and leprechauns, go for it. I'm game.
oh no, it's all good. It's all good. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Also, Stace Berkland, shout out, thank you for that. Coop had La Polina Legito #2 as cigar of the year, which was a Petite Lancero. That was the other one. Yeah, I knew he gave it to 2. Really quick, I want to talk about what I'm using to light my cigar tonight, and that is the new Windproof Defi from SD Dupont, shaking up the legacy. Windproof soft flame lighter. I know it's probably hard to see, but it is what it is. Is shipping now. Ask your local ST Dupont retailer about them today, and shake up the legacy with us.
How much would one of those cost?
I believe this is $3.99 MSRP.
There you go.
Yep. Which I feel like a lot of that has to do with the tariffs. I think these are made in China, so that's probably part of that too. Because I remember being like, "Wow, that's a lot for this kind of lighter." Yeah, I know all of those are made in China, so.
Really? DuPonts are made in China? They're not put together?
I think that all their torches and like mechanical lighters are made in China. The Line 2s and the Legrands are made in France.
Okay.
Yeah. And the cutters might be made. The cutters might be made in
The
France.
cutters are there's like some of the jets and everything, like the special ones they make in France if it's like
Yeah.
the really nice ones, but the standard stock ones are made in China.
Mm-hmm.
Cutters
Okay.
included.
It's to the point now that you really don't even have an option, right? They're the ones that have the manufacturing capability for so much stuff. There's not a whole lot of other countries where you can even get a lighter made if you wanted to. If you tried to make a lighter in America right now, you know how much that lighter would cost? If you said, hey, I'm going to make a torch lighter from scratch, those lighters would be $1,000 a piece. There's no way they'd have to sniff that. There's no way you could even touch it. I may be underestimating what they would cost.
Oh, a lighter like this? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely
100%.
tool up from scratch, full everything that you would need to do. Oh my God. Yeah. Price would be what the price would be. That's the problem, which for the consumer would be just stupid, right?
Right.
I mean, look how much my cutter costs making it in the United States. Bam, there you go. You make the same cutter, in Asia, you can cut the price of that thing down probably easily in half and maybe even more than that. I mean, it's just the way it is. Anything you make in America, regretfully, is going to be expensive. Period. I mean, the mug
That's the way
we
it
were
is.
talking about earlier, those mugs cost $13.50, $14 a piece for a mug. You can get mugs any day of the week for $1.30, $1.45 from Asia. So there you go. A mug is literally 10 times the cost.
Yeah.
Manufacturing in the United States.
They are cool mugs, though. It's worth it.
No, they're great mugs.
We love them. So
It's
thank
great.
you.
It's great product, but I mean, the point is,
Yeah.
it's just that's what it costs to manufacture something like that in America.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, probably the Deneen pottery people, I bet they're making worse margin on that than the people in China are on the ones that cost $1.35. I bet they make more profit on the $1.35 ones than the Deneen people make on their $13.50 ones.
Yep. 100%. It's the way it works,
Mm-hmm.
But that's the way life is now. And I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever see it change, but I don't know. We'll see.
No, if it isn't some sort of dedicated technology that's reserved to a specific country that they have the infrastructure to do, it's really really hard. It's the same reason why do I still get bands printed in the Netherlands? It's not other countries can't print this stuff. The thing is that they have been printing stuff for over 2 centuries for commercial use, and they have scaled their equipment as changes have happened and as laws have come up, because there's a lot of laws involved in printing, because you end up with a lot of material that ends up becoming waste, and you have to have some sort of disposal for that waste. And as a result, they actually are one of the very like the type of press that you use to do actual gold. Not when you do true gold bronzing on a band that actually contains gold. There's only one printer in the United States that even has that technology running, and it's Hallmark. And Hallmark uses it for a series of cards that they sell. I guess they have some high-end series of cards that cost like $14 to $17 for a card that actually have that type of metallic embedded gold or embedded silver in the actual in the bronzing agent. It creates a slurry, a byproduct, an effluent that is a waste material that you then have to separate all the heavy metals out of, and you have to filter all the water, and you have to have a specific disposal, and on and on. And as a result, it becomes incredibly costly when you can I can just use foil. And if I just use foil doesn't add any costs at all. Problem with foil is it's gotten better. But and so have the metallic inks. The metallic inks have gotten better, so you can't tell, but over time you can tell, because the ones that actually use real metallic bronzing, they kind of almost take on a patina to them, a richness. They actually improve over time. They don't just stay flat and dull. So I like it, but it comes at a cost.
Right. Yeah, Nicole's dad's a printer, actually, so I've heard over the years, I've heard a lot of interesting tidbits of information about printing. Copper plate, all that stuff. Is it copper plate? Yeah, I think it's copper plate. Like with embossing and stuff like that. He's taught me about all that stuff.
Yeah, they'll normally you'll use bronze plates for heavy applications, or titanium plates for heavy applications. If you're doing small runs, they'll actually make them out of magnesium. And if it's like a really small run, you can even get away with a 3D printed plastic, but you get such a little production out of it, it's almost not worth the time. So the low end is almost always either magnesium and aluminum, and the high end is almost always bronze. But even the bronze, they wear out. I mean, and even the titanium, everyone would think titanium would last forever, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it's an interesting world, printing. Believe me, I've heard I've heard all about it so many times. It comes up anytime there's any sort of printed material. He picks it up and he starts, going on to it like you would about a cigar and a blend and tobaccos. And I'm like, wow, you know a lot about this. Which, hey, not knocking him. It's just,
it's his job.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's just very interesting. And I remember there was a catalog on the. I had like a big catalog on the table one time, and he looked at it. He was like, "Do you know how these are made?" He's like, "Oh, it's made like big machines, like sizes of entire cities. They in multiple pieces, and they do this, and it goes this, and then they do the binding." And it is interesting, but it's like, wow, that's a lot of information. So
does he work at Hallmark?
No, he doesn't work at Hallmark. His
print fucking sucks, man.
Whoa! Shots fired. Wow, you're just full of everything tonight.
I'm just trying. Every now and then I gotta chime up and just keep it interesting. If you don't work at Hallmark, fuck your printer. Is my takeaway from this conversation.
Wow.
We'll go to the Netherlands.
I'm gonna tell
either one of the
two. No, he owns a Minuteman Press franchise, so he doesn't do a lot of fancy stuff per se like that, but he does know how to do it. He does have a lot of vintage machines from like the 30s, the 40s, like really old stuff that he still uses, believe it or not, that he's just acquired over the years, and or some of the stuff they've had for a long time, and they maintain it and they take care of it and they use it, and he's talked about mixing the inks and the dyes and all of that, and it really is interesting stuff. It's just stuff like that that you don't really think about, and then you start hearing about it and learn about it, and you're like, wow, there's a lot more to this than I realized.
Like whenever you do like a full run of print on bands, you're gonna lose like the first 3 to 4 thousand bands to them just dialing in the press.
Wow, I didn't
Like,
realize that.
yeah, it takes about 3 to 4 thousand bands, because they're printed multiples on a single sheet, and so yeah, it's a lot of waste. It's very hard to. You can almost print 25,000 bands for just a little bit more than you can print 5,000 bands.
Yeah, and I know a lot of the manufacturers, they get their bands or like they get the box inlays and stuff like that. It's all printed over there. And then I think is there someone in the Dominican that also
Yeah,
prints bands?
cigar rings and also there's a couple companies in Dominican.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's people use cigar rings in Nicaragua. They use cigar rings in the DR. I use a small family printer out of the Netherlands called Vintintillen. I just like they've been around for a very very long time, and they don't have a large customer base, but they have a very select customer base. And it also you have to have a willingness to pay more, which I do because I just make the consumer pay the vig on it. It's just that simple. I'm okay that a band is right. I'm okay that the band costs a nickel, and if my band costs a nickel is the reason why a consumer isn't going to buy my cigar, then I'm in trouble, right? But a lot of companies they want those bands for like 1.6 cents, 1.7 cents, but I don't know. I feel like the band is almost more important than the box in a lot of ways because you don't hold the box. You hold a cigar in your hand for that hour to 2 hours. So the band being correct to me is more important than even the box being correct. The box is almost. I don't want the box to be shitty, but at the same time, I don't think the box is the place to actually. I think you're better off spending a few extra pennies on good quality bands than you are spending $8 more to make a fancy box.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
found that in too that a lot of people. I mean, we talk about boxes on the show about how consumers look at box work and to kind of catch their eye, and they don't really know shit about the cigar, but they're like, oh, it's a cool box. I think it's more band now. Like the latter end of me working at Twins, I found that a lot of people were based off of the imagery on the band opposed to the box, with the exception of like, the limited humidors and the extravagant boxes for limited releases. Like your everyday kind of cigar would be based on how the band looks and the color scheme, and some colors tend to catch an eye more than others, and like that's really kind of what I saw. Like, oh, look at this cool band. It has like we use like street tacos when that came out. Like,
Right.
no one knew what like what the brand was, Rojas, but it has a like what is it? Like it has that image on it, and that the boxes have like that kind of cartoony wood or whatever. But no one knew about the cigar, but oh, it looks cool, right? And I think it was mainly a credit to the band.
Look, we all buy with our eyes first, right?
that's why I always say, we always say packaging is not important, but yet at the same time it is.
Oh, it's critically important. I wish it wasn't important. It'd make my life a hell of a lot easier, but it is. If it wasn't, I'd be glad to not have to bother with the nonsense. But
Like up in like you sell in Canada where they get plain packaging. I mean, what a nightmare that must be to deal with.
I don't know. I don't do any of it. The Canadian distributor handles it all. If whatever they buy, they figure out how to plain package it. We don't.
Oh,
Do
they
it.
do it for you. You don't touch it.
Yeah, I'm not
Wow.
doing that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got something weird the other day. Someplace Cyprus has passed some new rule that you can't use like certain terms, and one of the terms you can't use is unique. So they wanted to have us in like it says on all the Muestros 7 unique vitolas or something like that on it, just as part of the front mark. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, you have to make a new screen. I'm like, I'm not making a new screen. I don't care if we sell any cigars to fucking Cyprus. If you guys want to take off the word unique, get out your Sharpie marker and start drawing lines because I'm not making a new cliche. I'm not making a new screen. I'm not going to make. It's like, where does this end? Everybody and their brother comes up with some bullshit nonsense rule. You got to try to comply with all this crap. No, dude, they don't allow you to use the word unique in Cyprus. I don't know why. Get a Sharpie, dude. Scratch it out. Do what you want to do. But I'm not changing the box, or don't buy it. There you go. That solves the problem. Even that works for me too. I'm not making a special box for Cyprus because you guys don't allow the word unique.
I didn't even know that was a thing. That is bullshit.
Dude, there are so many bullshit rules around the world. It's never ending in our industry. It's craziness.
Yeah, like who comes up with this shit? Like, oh, you can't use the word unique. Why? What's wrong with that?
Some bureaucrats, some politicians, some egghead somewhere, some nanny stater, who knows. But the point is, they don't ever stop. They keep coming up with crap, and they just keep expecting all of us to just go along and get along to do whatever because they think we're going to miss the sale. And I'm like, fuck Cyprus, you know. Nice place, love you guys, but hey, can't buy because there's the word unique on the outside of the box.
That's ridiculous. It really is. Well, it kind of reminds me. I'll bring it up briefly, but in regards to the situation currently with California, I think I have this right. You've said you're not going to be even selling your stuff in California. You're not going to go through the process. So
I'm not doing the process. I didn't do the process. I'm not doing the process. Now, look,
And you actually, if I saw correctly, you're buying back product, right, from those
yeah.
retailers?
So what we did was once I made that decision, we notified our Californian accounts to, hey, we're just not selling you. I mean, look, you can legally sell into California non-UTL products until the first of the year. We just simply said, we're not selling you any more product, period. And the reason why is because as a company, we have a policy that we will always take from a retailer unopened sealed boxes that are in sellable condition, and we will give them a credit, or in the worst case scenario, if they just don't want to be an account anymore, which in California's case, it's not their fault. They can't be. We'll actually give them their cash back. So basically, we stopped allowing them to purchase anything from us about 4 weeks ago, with the understanding that sometime like the second week of December, we'll get them to give us an inventory of what they have, and we'll then we'll have them ship it back, and we'll give them their money back. You know, it is kind of their fault. They operate in a fucked up state, but it isn't like they personally voted for this law or this regulation. They're the ones that actually ultimately get hurt by it. So why add salt to the wound? And for us, we don't have anything that's like dead, non-turning inventory. So if they've kept the sealed box perfectly fine in their humidor, it's no different than us keeping the sealed box in our humidor at the warehouse. So we're happy to take it back. And that way too, if things change, then they'll probably be very happy to open an account with us again, because we didn't leave them stuck holding the bag because of the decision that we made. We have a lot of accounts like that originally brought Dunbarton in the early days, and it didn't do well for them. And we just took their product back and never asked them to buy again. But eventually, 3-4 years go by and they start to see a demand. They're like, hey, we'd like to open an account again. I'm like, yeah, happy to have you back. Have we probably not taken that product back in the beginning? Who knows if they ever would have done that, because it's really, it's once you're through this is the problem that all small brands have, is they turn and burn through these accounts. And then you end up to the point where you've opened everybody and lost everybody, and it's very hard for you to grow. So for us, by having this policy, it's always made it to where there was no bad blood. There was no place where the retailer ever got hurt in the equation. There was no, hey, you bought it, it's your problem now. See you later, sucker. We've just never taken that attitude. So that's kind of where we are with California. Now, we gave them the option, but if you want to continue ordering, you can up until the end of the year, but then we can't promise you that we'll take it back. Not saying I won't, but it kind of depends. We've had a couple accounts say, well, your stuff turns fast enough that as long as I keep buying it and I stop buying probably in November, I'm safe. I'm like, okay, Bob, if that's what you want to do, just want you to know I can't promise you. I probably still will, but I can't promise you. It's going to depend on what it is. Because what you don't want is a retailer to load up to then find out that it's all going to be confiscated by the government on January 1st. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. That's an interesting policy, but it seems like it works for you. And and I like kind of the analogy. No bridges burned, essentially, which
Look,
it
for me, it
works.
doesn't. Look, if it doesn't sell for the retail, then it isn't good for me either. I
Of
make
course.
a consumable commodity, I mean, luxury commodity, granted, but in the end, if it doesn't turn, it doesn't turn. So non-turning cigars on a retailer shelf actually doesn't do me any benefit in the long run.
Right.
So for me, I want them to turn. So normally what ends up happening is normally they buy something, it doesn't work for them, and then they take it as a credit and they use those credited dollars to buy something that is turning for them. Okay, because look, every shop is different. You have some shops that do really, really well with brand X, but don't do well with brand Y. And just on the opposite end of the spectrum of brands, that brand Y is their best brand and they can't sell brand X for shit. So, you know, it's store to store dependent. There's a lot to do with the staff. What does the staff that works the store like? What do they recommend when a consumer comes in and says, "Hey, I really want a mild kind of creamy cigar"? Does brulee come out of their mouth? Hey, I like Maduro's heavier, stronger cigars. Does Mi Querida come out of their mouth? If it does, well, then you have an opportunity to do well in that environment. But if it doesn't, it's much harder. So having the staff champion your products makes a very big difference. And I don't mean championing like rah rah, gonna like always sell this to somebody, but when someone comes in and they ask for advice, that that person that's working the counter, they want to give 3 or 4 really good suggestions to that consumer that they think are going to fit their portfolios or their palate. So, are you one of those 3 or 4 things that come out of their mouths on the regular?
Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you, that I was thinking about when you were talking about, what you're doing with California. Um, and and if I'm not up to date on what you've done this year, I apologize. But I remember at least maybe 2 years ago, you guys were, and I could be wrong, but you guys were saying you weren't even opening accounts, like at the trade show and whatnot.
No,
Um,
we're still opening accounts. We have a backlog, and look, and as we get availability, we open accounts as we have more available product. So we just don't solicit accounts to open. I mean, we're at the physical trade show, but at the trade show, almost all that time is already occupied by accounts that we do business with. So, like when a new account says, "Hey, I'm interested in your product," we kind of hand them the information packet and samples and say, "Hey, let's have a conversation," after the trade show. But and because we don't have even the few places that we still retain a broker, they don't have the ability to open an account. We, what are they going to say? They're going to go to the store and say, "Oh, these cigars are fantastic and they sell really well." Well, that's the same shit that every single brand says.
right.
So I've always taken the attitude that it's kind of better to build it and let them come. And when that retailer decides that he has an interest in the product for whatever reason, sometimes because he's really into cigars and he actually likes our cigars, more times than not, it's because he gets enough requests for them that he feels as though he's got to bring them in. So consumers really drive the vast majority of the accounts that our products ultimately end up being placed in because we don't ever go, "Oh, we only have so many in Virginia. We need more there. Oh, we barely have anyone in Chicago. We got to focus on Chicago." We don't do that at all. I just don't. I don't care. I don't care that we don't have that we're not in this fancy store in such and such a city because it's the store. If that store doesn't want it, and I got to go and explain to them why they want it, then I've already lost the battle. I, I just wait. Eventually, they all eventually will buy because they're retailers and retailers retail and they want to have stuff on their shelves that sell. And in the end, they will eventually come and they will buy it as long as the product keeps selling. And look, if the product isn't selling, then it doesn't do me any good anyways either. So it's kind of one way or the other. But no, we kind of take a very hands off kind of approach to opening accounts. And not a week goes by where we don't get at least 2 or 3 requests from accounts. So I mean, I don't even know where the backlog list is now. I don't keep up with it. Um, but I imagine they haven't opened a lot of new ones the last few months because we've been so far behind on so much stuff. But winter is coming, and then we'll build up a bit of inventory, and then they'll start opening accounts again. I'm sure. Like I said,
Well,
I could be wrong. They could have opened 3 accounts today. I wouldn't know.
well, my question was going to be, if you have all of a sudden you have all these accounts in California that are technically closed at the end of the year, does that give you the
Yeah.
ability to just open up a lot more that maybe you weren't able to do? But
Uh,
then the flip side of
yeah,
that coin is if the thing with California kind of for some reason it does go away and things go back to normal, or now you can't really replace all those retailers that you had, even though like, oh, Steve, like, we're good, like we want you back.
but yeah, we'd find a way to do. We find a way to do everything. I mean, look, it's a pain, but
Yeah.
we're back ordered on 3,000 boxes of Brulee Blue. We get it a shipment. There's only 600. We try to take those 600. We try to make sure that everybody has back order gets a taste. That's what we do.
Right.
We try really hard to we try to make sure that everybody always gets something on a regular basis. So, when a consumer says, well, so and so hasn't had such and such for 8 months, that's not us, that's them. The reason they don't have it for 8 months is because they don't have an order for it, period. Because we get cigars every single month, okay, and typically multiple times a month. So are there times where someone will go without something for 2-3 months? Yes, but that's the very abnormal situation. Most of the time we're shipping. Look, and I always say to consumers, just pop onto 4 or 5 or 6 of the online web vendors and see if they have it in stock. And if they have it in stock, well, your brick and mortar doesn't have it in stock because they don't have it on order, right? Because if they have it in stock, your guys would have it in stock too, because we don't treat the large accounts any different than we treat the small accounts. So when it comes time to divvy up the 600 boxes of Brulee Blue that came in on this month's shipment, we make sure that everybody that's got a pending order gets a taste. Now, granted, if the brick and mortar guy has got 4 boxes on order and the big online guy's got 100 boxes on order, we'll probably send the big online guy 25 boxes, and we'll probably send the guy with 4 boxes 2 boxes, right? Because we'd rather service as many of those small accounts as we could, 2 boxes, 3 boxes, 4 boxes, then send all 100 boxes to whoever, CI or whatnot. So we try really hard to make sure that everybody gets a flow of product all the time, because again, that's what's in our best interest, because they can't sell it if they don't have it on their shelves, period. So not getting a retailer product doesn't work to our advantage in any way whatsoever.
Sorry, I just needed a little something there.
Whatever.
That was poorly timed on my part. But no, it's interesting. That's a discussion that we don't really have with everybody. Kind of like on kind of how that behind the curtain stuff works. But I think it's interesting because, and to your point, like you mentioned, like when the consumers say, well, I think that it kind of helps consumers understand, because there's a lot of consumers out there who are very regular. They're always buying stuff. They're very, they smoke a lot. And so they notice things like that. The casual person who, maybe they buy, a box every once in a while. They don't smoke a lot. They might not notice things like that. But most of the people watching tonight are probably, safe to say, very regular cigar smokers. And, we see comments and questions and stuff randomly all the time.
Every once in a while, they'll email me and they'll DM me or whatever. They'll go, hey, so-and-so from such and such says he's waiting on this. And I'm like, dude, he's not. He doesn't have it on order. And,
Yeah.
And I said, listen, I'll have one of my team call out and call that person and put it in front of them and ask if they want to order it. But if they say no, I can't force them to order it. But then I'll tell the consumer, well, here. The last thing I want to do, look, it's not my job to put a consumer to purchase the product from one retailer over another retailer. There's no incentive for that. Look, my job is my job, and their job is to retail, and they have to fight and earn their living with all the other retailers out there. So
Right.
I never like to be in a position where I say to a consumer, well, heck, Twins doesn't have it, but 2 guys over there does have it. You know what I mean? I don't ever want to do that. What I'd rather do is figure out, well, why doesn't Twins have it? Let's see. But in the end, if Twins decides they don't want to carry it, and this guy wants whatever box of Mi Querida Gorilla Gordas, then I say, okay, well, here you go. Here's some places out in the world that have Gorilla Gordas, but you don't even need me. That's why there's Google. You can find sources for everything. And I'm actually the wrong guy to answer the question because I don't really keep track of sales. Like, I'm surprised that Twins has our Omagog displays already. I mean, we just announced those on what, Monday? Yeah, Monday. So here it is Wednesday. And the fact that he's already got them in his shop, that's like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, that means he ordered them instantaneously right away. Because that's the only way that happens, right? I mean, if they have it, it's Wednesday. I mean, he must, I don't even know. I don't even know how he has them on Wednesday.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, the office is only like 20 minutes away from the store.
Well, I just say a lot of times Kurt will stop at the office and he'll pick stuff up, right? So that may have been the case. He may have picked it up personally. Someone may have come up and picked it up themselves because it's only like 20, 25 minutes.
Or Yvonne brought it down or something like that. Right.
Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, but look, retailers have their own businesses to operate. They have their own. Their job is not to sell my cigars. Their job is to sell cigars and to satisfy their customers. Period.
True.
Now, if their customers want our product, then it's part of their job to sell our product. But in the end, it isn't their job to convince a consumer to buy my crap. It isn't. Yeah. And they have no vested interest in doing so. They like I said, they make the same margin on relatively everything in the humidor. What they care about, I always tell retailers this, that curating your humidor properly is a big part of your business. The better curated your humidor is, the more likely you are to have consumers come into your place. But also your staff makes a big difference. And do you offer a bar environment? And your pricing makes a difference. And all these things, because in the end, as a retailer, your business is really your front door. Because when a consumer walks into a retail shop, you don't get window shopping consumers in the cigar business, right? They almost always buy something. It's the rare experience where you have a guy come through the door and say, do you have this specific cigar? And when you say, I don't, they turn right around and walk out the door, right? So really blue. Yeah, I mean, so really your business as a retailer is to figure out how to get more people to come through your front door. So it's all these other things that are the components that make that possible. Because that's what you want. You want them to come into your door. You want them to buy cigars from your retail shop. You want them to be your customers. But as you know, Pat, we live in New Hampshire. We have a variety of good cigar stores that are relatively a stone throw away from one another. And most consumers will have a home shop, but they probably have 2 or 3 other shops that they visit on a relative, reasonably frequent basis. Right? Because it's the nature of it. You see that in places like Dallas and Phoenix and any place where there's a high concentration of cigar stores. Very rarely is a consumer loyal to one physical retailer, just the same way as it's really rare for a consumer to be loyal to 1 or 2 physical brands.
Yeah, I usually let the retail speak. I usually let up to Pat because he actually has that experience, not me. I know little bits of it, but that's really Pat's corner of expertise. So, but one of Pat's other expertises, at least on this show, is our trivia segment. And I don't know if Pat is bringing his A game this week, but
I'm miserably bad at all trivia, so
it can't be as bad as me, Steve. I don't know. I've fallen on my face many a time. I have to fix your thing again. This is annoying. I hate that. It should just be automatic. I'm going to write a strongly worded letter. Although now it's not. Hold on. Why is it not working? Oh, wrong camera. Hold on.
Spending way too much time dicking with this stuff. Don't worry about it. Nobody cares.
I want you to look good, Steve. All right.
Like, that makes me look better.
The lighting is better that way, you know? You don't want to look too washed out. Our trivia brought to you once again by Perdomo Cigars, featuring our 2024 cigar of the year, the Perdomo 30th Anniversary Sun-Grown Epicure. Perdomo Cigars stand for quality, tradition, and excellence. All right, Pat, what's the category tonight, or the theme, or whatever?
Well, I have random trivia, and I'm gonna
Random.
scroll and just stop my thumb on a question, and just whichever one ends up being, it's gonna be what we go with.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So it could be really good or really shit. So we'll see.
Well, you're really playing Russian roulette with this now.
I am. All
All
right.
right. Let's do it.
Question one. This is a pretty easy one. What is the national sport of Canada?
Hockey.
No.
Steve, are you muted?
I think so. He's
Steve, I think you-
Saka's muted.
Uh-oh.
Whoa, am I
We
muted
didn't.
now?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
you're good now.
All right, national sport of hockey. Oh,
It's
no,
not hockey.
The hockey of Canada. It's not hockey.
I know.
It's not. Believe it.
Like
Uh,
everybody knows like hockey's like, hockey in Canada are like cookies and milk.
Let's think about another way. Let's think about what about summer sport like lacrosse, maybe.
Lacrosse. Yeah, it's lacrosse.
Really? That's
Yeah, I
listen,
saw
I
that
know
and I
that.
was like, really? I fact checked it though, and I don't.
Did
know
you?
if,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't buy that. I mean,
Yeah, I googled it after the fact when I saw that, as you guys were thinking about it, because
how is it not
we have
hockey?
Mitchell answer that. Is Mitchell in the chat now? I mean, he'll
All right.
tell you.
Actually, I haven't seen Mitchell tonight, so I don't think he is. But yeah, our resident Canadian, he
All right,
would
all
know.
right. I need to Google this. There's two national sports. There's a national winter sport and a national summer sport. It's part of the National Sports of Canada Act in 1994. And they have ice hockey for winter and lacrosse for summer. But then it says AI responses may include mistakes. For legal advice, consult a professional. Learn more. So
I like that.
you got to put a disclaimer on an answer about the National Sport of Canada.
Wow.
Oh, this is
Lacrosse is super popular here in New Hampshire. It's popular in Vermont. It's popular in all the northern.
Yeah.
I don't know about Michigan and Wisconsin, but I bet they play a lot more lacrosse than they do in Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
probably.
All right, I got the
what's
next
next?
random question. Oh, this is a jump. Oh my god. I don't even know if I want to read this one. Fuck it.
No, now you have to.
It's just a big jump. I'm like, what? Which NFL player spent 2 years in prison for being one of the chief operators of Bad News Kennels?
Oh,
Come on, that's a relatively easy one.
that's Michael Vick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Vick, yeah.
Yeah.
We go
come
from
on.
national sport of Canada to who committed this felony. That's a big jump. That is what you get though. So I mean,
So far, we're on sports.
That's a national sport of a Chafalaya.
So I'm scrolling vigorously and I came across an ad for milk, and I accidentally clicked it while scrolling. So here we are now.
Garofalo
Right.
would be excited. He would segue that into his cigars and milk thing, which I still haven't tried.
Yeah, it's the best.
Steve,
pairing.
did he get you to? Did Dave get you to do the cigars and milk thing? I know he was really into that for a while.
No, but I don't know what he says, but as a general rule of thumb, anything that has fat in it changes the way your taste buds perceive everything. So anything that's fatty almost always is a good complement to cigar smoke. So it wouldn't surprise me that milk would have that effect, because those fat would just basically coat your receptors with that fat, and as a result, the cigar would taste better.
Interesting.
Or worse, if it's
I had eggnog.
Yeah, eggnog's a good
I did
combo.
eggnog.
I love eggnog with cigars. Love a milkshake with cigars. Love ice cream with cigars. All those fatty things tend to be good complementary foils for smoking a cigar. So milk could, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of milk to begin with, so I would much rather. My favorite way to drink milk is if it's been sitting with a bowl of Lucky Charms or something for 20 minutes. Captain Crunch Berry or something. Get that sugary milk. A regular old plain milk, nah. Make that a milkshake.
All right, this should be an easy one that I came upon here. Which state consumes the most turkeys on Thanksgiving Day?
Steve's typing away.
I am. I'm googling it.
No cheating, Steve. Come on.
I have no clue.
I really don't either. I mean,
I mean, fucking guess. I mean,
Let me say this.
knee-jerk reaction is like
The knee-jerk reaction
Texas.
if I
is
asked you what the biggest state was, like, what would
I
you
was
say?
just gonna say,
I mean, like,
the knee-jerk reaction is the most populated state, right? So therefore, it would be California if you're gonna go by that, right? But if you're talking about a per capita basis, then the math all changes. It has to be California that eats the most turkeys, just by physically the amount of population that's in California, right? But then if you're talking about on a per capita basis, then what is it? What's the state that actually likes to eat
I mean,
turkey?
Steve, the question is, what state eats the most fucking turkeys? I mean, we're not going into like an algebraic equation here with turkeys. Like,
Wow, Jesus Christ, Pat.
it
All
is
right.
California.
Steve, he's usually not this vibrant. He really saved all the energy for you. I don't.
I'm glad I'm seeing him bring him out. You know what it is? It's because I'm from New England, right? And he knows you can be this way. We do this like Rafael Nadal. He's gonna be like crying at the end of the episode. Oh my God, he didn't like me. He was so bad. He was so mean to me. We're gonna be like, fuck another yank, man.
I was gonna.
Rules don't apply to you, I guess.
When Saka accidentally muted himself, I was gonna clip in and be like, everyone, like, Saka for once stopped talking.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know what I did there. Anyways, okay.
You click something. We can hear you though. Much to Pat's dismay.
All
All right, Pat, you got one more for us?
This is an easy one.
Put my hands up.
I
So
think
you
it
can
is.
stop Googling.
No, yeah, no cheating.
Where is the highest building on the planet?
Highest building on the planet. Ooh, that's a trick question, right? Because it's not necessarily the tallest building on the planet, but the highest building on the planet. So, I mean, if you're starting off in some place in the Himalayas, right, you've already got like a 22,000 foot like jump, right? So it could be like.
So I guess right. The question, like, the actual structure itself being the tallest. It says the highest, but it means the tallest building.
The tallest. I don't even know. It's one of those things in like Asia. It's that crazy building with the bridge in between the two that I don't know the name of.
No.
All right, then is it something in Dubai? That would be my next guess.
Yep. It's Dubai.
It is in Dubai.
And it's 2,722 feet.
There you go.
Wow.
I don't know. That just creeps me out. I don't know why. Tall buildings, I always feel like they were built by the lowest bid contractor. I mean, it's just, I don't know. The whole thing just.
The idea of being that high up and it collapses.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not an appealing thought at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, earthquakes. Because look, you have earthquakes everywhere. We even have earthquakes here in New Hampshire. Now, granted, most of them are like 1.6 on the Richter scale, right? But what is that? Okay. So, but anyways, yeah. Okay, tallest building in Dubai. And Dubai is everything now. Have you noticed that? So many people are moving to Dubai.
Yeah, Dubai is getting very popular with a lot of things.
Well, it's become the new Switzerland for banking, right? They actually, what the Swiss used to be known for their discretion, and now they no longer are. And now Dubai has become one of the places that a lot of people from the EU end up moving to Dubai for more liberal laws. I guess that's the right way to say it. The more liberal financial laws.
Yeah, Dubai has really come a long way, at least in my lifetime. I mean, I remember as a kid, didn't really hear about it. In the last 10 years,
Because when you were a kid, it didn't exist. It was dirt.
Yeah, I mean
I mean, Dubai is an entirely made from scratch existence. I mean,
yeah.
when you start with a blank canvas and you say, "Hey, let's build the perfect, shining hill on the dune," kind of thing. So yeah, I've never been.
I was just about to say, have you been? Because I know you travel a little bit.
I thought about going for this cigar thing in November, but I'm too wiped out. I'm too busy. I just what am I gonna go there for? It's just gonna kill a. The problem too is to fly to Dubai. I didn't even put in the. I can't say you fly to Dubai in less than a day and a half. I mean, look, you got to fly all the way to Europe, to then fly all the way to Dubai.
Yeah, I'm like doing. Yeah, I guess that's true. I know
I mean,
Coop's been a couple of times. I should ask. But I do remember. I think it took him like total 20 hours or something like that.
yes, no, thank you. And then also too, it's hot, so I'd have to go to Dubai from like I'd have to look it up. I don't even know when the cool season is in Dubai, but I imagine it's in our winter because it's still Dubai's still in the northern hemisphere, isn't it? I think so. Yes. So yeah, so you'd end up wanting to go to Dubai in like January or February because no way do I want to be in a place that's 128 degrees. I don't care how dry that heat is.
Like Vegas in July.
Yeah, same shit.
Well, that is going to do it for our trivia tonight. But we do have.
Live from the J.C.
Whoop.
Newman Cigar Studios and the Gurkha Cigar Studios.
Sorry, that was on me. I clicked the wrong thing. But we do have a DTT giveaway to do, and as I said earlier, we do have one, a box of DTT, and a DTT mug. And I had no plan for this. I purposely left this open. I figured we'll just do this on the fly with Steve because that's how things roll with Steve. You know, he's a very
I don't care. You got my shit already to give it away. You give it away next week. It makes no difference to me.
I was like, all right, maybe Steve will have something, but then he's like, no, I'm good. So I'm like, well, that ruined that plan.
What do I care? What do I care? I'm already out of it. I mean, what is the box of cigars?
I actually didn't grab it. I usually just do it randomly, so that way it's just random, and that's just kind of how we usually do all of our giveaways. But I'm trying to remember what we have left. They're in the humidor closet over there. I think this. I know there is. Oh, there's a box. I'm pretty sure there's a box of Tricky Tracker in there, and I want to say there is a Muestra in there. I want to say Bewitched, I think is in there.
I don't remember.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure I saw a Muestra box in there, and I'm pretty sure it's Bewitched. It's either Bewitched or Krakatoa. If I'm almost certain it's one of those two. So,
I think you were better just say a box of DTT, and then that way you won't be wrong.
well, that's what I was doing, and then
It's just the obvious question.
I know, but we do try to. I just do it randomly, and that way
How
no
does
one's.
this work? How do you determine the winner? You ask them some question like what?
Well, we've done different things, and I don't know how aware you are of some of the earlier ones, but they were very interesting. So the first few we kind of did by submission. The very first one was the roast of Saka, and
How'd that go?
it went very well. It
Popular
went
target.
it went very well. For all the reasons that you would think. Some of them, the show is out there. We read some of the top ones.
I'm not gonna watch it. It's gonna hurt my fragile ego.
It was Pat who's can chime in here and back me up on this because he was equally a part of this, and he was like, "Damn, there was some." Wow, there was some novels that were written. I was like, this was supposed to be like a quick, like, hey Steve, your cigars suck. Like, no, people wrote like fucking stories, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, I think my favorite one was a guy was like, yeah, there's a new DTT that Saka put a mirror on the inside of the box so you can fucking look at yourself when you're smoking his shit.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. I remember that one.
You're beautiful.
There was some good ones.
there was some good ones.
And then one guy did like one guy did 5 of them. We stopped reading them because we were like, I don't know if this guy's joking, but he ended up being a huge fan. I think he won actually because like he was in the
Well,
comments and he was just like a
he
good
I think
guy.
I think
Loves
he
his
sent
stuff.
yeah he sent like a handful, but like they weren't all in order. So we were going through them all, and then we're like, oh, fucking gee, this guy again. And then we finally found one. He was like, okay, like that's enough. Like I'm not gonna send any more, but Steve, really, like I love you, and just keep doing your thing. And I'm like, after all of that, really?
That's the way. Come on, let's get real. If it's somebody you don't actually care about, you don't bother, right? You don't waste your time. So, I mean, you know how this works. I mean, you bust the balls the hardest of your friends than you do somebody else.
It's true.
I mean, that's the way it is. So, I would expect nothing less than to be drugged through the mud.
That's right. And then I think the second one we did, we actually went the opposite, and we said, all right, we gotta at least cover our ass with this. And we said, now you have to say something good. Now you have to say something good about Steve or make a suggestion. It has to be positive.
Right? And then somebody, my mother said,
yeah.
You don't have anything nice to say.
We got no submissions for the compliment section.
Oh, yeah. Brent Hagen. I was told, I don't remember what he said, but I do remember it. Yeah, I was told I was too mean. I remember that being like, I don't know, this one's rough. Oh man, but yeah, you're an easy target. But you're right. I think the people who hit you the hardest were the people who love you the most. That's the thing. They're the people who like only buy your cigars.
If I started
the one that said that
about what everybody said, I would be literally a quivering, just crying ball of jelly. I mean, literally. I mean, it's like, come on. I've been doing this so long. This whole online bullshit. I mean, since the early '90s. There's literally nothing that somebody could say that hasn't been said a dozen times plus. I mean, it's not physically possible.
Well, the thing is like the best ones or the most aggressive ones, they all ended it with like, I'm just having fun, but Steve, I really love you. Please make more of the Mickey readers and this and that, and and like shit like that. And they tried to like bring it home and redeem themselves, but I'm like, dude, the damage is done. I don't know if you can come back from that.
It was like Saka. One of them was Saka thinks he's the Ron Jeremy of the cigar industry.
That's I do remember that. I remember that. I remember someone saying something about Ron Jeremy, and I was like, that's out there.
Come on, the Hedgehog gave us all like hope. Here's this really dumpy guy. You know what I mean? And he's with all the best porn stars.
just whipping this out, being like, "I'll show you something."
Corona Grande.
I was doing a roast, and I remember it was a roast thing for a charity event. I remember the one guy said, my favorite thing, he goes, "Do you know what the difference is between Saka and God?" And the answer was, God doesn't think he's Saka. That was my favorite one from the roast. Oh yeah, I like that one.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
All right, so what are we doing this week? How do you win this box of cigars?
Well, maybe we go the trivia route. It's going to be about Steve, and we're going to test people to see how well they know you.
Well, let me see if I know me.
Trying to think what's a I don't want to do something like, I don't want to do something too personal that people just wouldn't know. It's got to be something that someone would probably know. Pat, you have any ideas for me? I had a few. I don't know if they work though. I don't know. I was gonna say.
I was gonna say like.
The first one that came to mind.
My idea.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm
go ahead.
vetoing here. I have an idea. I think it's easier because I don't want to do trivia because everyone's latency is different. So like the speed of answers, I think people would be disadvantaged because of the internet and everything.
Okay.
What I would say is like for the next couple minutes, all right, so pretend you made a cigar and you were naming it after Saka. What would you name the cigar? And whoever has the best one.
Okay, all right. I like this.
You choose that one.
I like this.
And that's the winner.
This is
so
going to be a roast 2.0.
Oh my god. I hope so because that'll bring a lot of... Yeah, this is going to be... All right, you guys know the rules now. Okay.
In PCA 2026, Saka's gonna make it. I'm just kidding.
No, don't. You know, someone will hear that and think you're serious. And be like, Steve, what the fuck? I waited.
It was good. I'm not above nicking something.
What the
I'll tell you
fuck?
that.
My cigar named Little Chubby won, and you didn't make a Little Chubby this year.
You know, Steve, I'm really disappointed. You'll be at some event somewhere in nowhere land, and just you won't even see it coming. Some guy will come to you, hi, Steve, hey, how you doing? And be like, you know, I got a bone to pick with you. Oh, what's that? I won the thing. I came up with the name, and you didn't make the cigar. I'm really fucking pissed about it. And you're gonna be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Because that will happen. There are some people who, you know, they love you that much. I don't know how else to say it. They really do. It's no joke. You're not a joking matter to them, Steve. They live, they breathe. Steve Saka.
It's not playing games until crap Timu.
Okay, here we go.
Oh my God, the crap.
The know-it-all cigar.
Yeah.
The Snicker. Okay.
That's an obvious one.
Come on, Brent. Bring it back. I know you got some. You get some heat loaded. Like I remember the roast of Saka. Come on.
Weak,
Yeah, come on. I know you got some high test in the tank. Don't be shy because he's here now. This is your time to shine. Come on.
Be your full self.
The Crabtree Timu.
I like that one.
Balded Bear. Old Man of the Mountain Cigar.
Yeah.
New Hampshire exclusive.
I would love to have named a cigar the Granite Stater, but I can't because there's the Granite State Cigar Company. That's already an owned trademark.
Damn.
Yeah.
Thread of a Dead Saka Doll.
Interesting.
Sasquatch Schlong. That could work. Could work. Saka's Thriller. Smoking Mirror Cigar. Wow, these are really rolling in. Man on the Mountain Cigar. That's 2 for that one. Chrome Dome. Wow. Wow, I could see that one.
It's a double entendre if I ever heard of one, right?
But you know, it was funny when we were in New Orleans and we did the interview in the booth, and you were talking about was it the Gorilla Gordo?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said
something.
Maybe.
I talked so much shit in that booth.
You said something like, yeah, this one's really big, you know, but I gave it like a tapered bullet head, so it's not so like it was too much in your mouth, like you're some porn star with a dick in your mouth, and I'm like, oh my god. Something like that. It's on there. I'm not making it up. You said it.
I say that all the time, man. I don't like a cigar. It's like a gay porn star. It's too big. I don't want that. And it's like
yeah.
Those Gorilla Gordas are really proven. I mean, we just dropped those like 6 weeks ago. They're doing really, really well. I think it's. I see that on Brulee too. We do well with the 60 ring gauge and the Brulee, and I think it's because of the tapered head. I think it just makes it where you can cut it to the size you want, right?
Right.
It's much more mouth friendly. God, there's just no good way to have this conversation.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, you know.
Yeah,
It's, the God Complex, Saka Dome, Live Free or Smoke. This guy's really on the New Hampshire theme. It's very interesting.
Well, there's what? Where do you live, Pat? You live in New Hampshire too?
Yeah.
Where? Let's dox you. What's your address?
Let's dox you.
Imagine I just reverse Uno card and I just give Saka's address.
Dude, it's easy enough to find.
I'm sure there's people out there that know it. They're like, I know where Steve lives. It's like, okay, relax. Jesus. Sin compromise. That one's already been used. You can't use sin compromise, so that one's already in effect. Saka Dome for the New Orleans show. Yeah, that would be a bone of contention. Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is the Brent that we know. The Saka's smoldering ego. He's getting warmer. You know, this is not quite the heat he sent us for the first round of the Saka contest, but He's working his way back up there. I mean, he had some shots in there. Maestra de Saka Moist Sasquatch. That one, Steve, actually could work. I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not even touching that one.
Angry Goat. Lord Saka cigar.
Angry Goat's actually a good name. I like Angry Goat.
I honestly, based on some of the names of your stuff, I feel like that one could.
That could actually work.
Yeah,
Goat.
like seriously.
That could be a Muestra, the Angry Goat. It's good. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Carl from Mr. J's. Oh, I forgot. Hey, Carl, how are you?
Who said Angry Goats? In case I use it, I'm gonna have to like. Ann said that one. Okay, that's actually a good name, Angry Goat.
Yeah, Angry Goat, Sasquatch Kryptonite, Sober Mesa Mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Back on the mouth again. I don't know. People got this thing about. I don't know. Black Leaf Reserve.
Yeah, too generic.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like someone did use that or something.
I'm
like
sure
that.
it has. Sure, if we Google Black Leaf, that's got to be the name. Something.
Pulling out of Cali.
Yeah, that California thing. And I'm even doubling down on that. I'm actually removing all the Prop 65 labels.
Really?
Yeah. Fuck it. Why not? If I'm saying I'm not going to sell in California, why make my boxes labeled legally to sell in California?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. True. Yeah.
I'm just going to...
Fuck them.
Look, we're in California. Let's be real. There's not a single retailer in California that doesn't have a box of either real or counterfeit Cubans underneath the counter. I mean, they've been selling counterband cigars in California from the moment I started smoking cigars. And anybody that wants to smoke whatever they want to smoke, they do. So I think the only person the law really ultimately ends up hurting is the brick and mortar retailer. They're the ones that get fucked in the deal because the Attorney General has already told Small Batch that they can keep buying my product as long as they don't sell it to anyone in California. So there you go. Which makes it really confusing to me is how can you say you're going to confiscate everyone's inventory on the first of the year if you're saying that Small Batch is allowed to order and as long as they sell it, I say, why can't a brick and mortar say, well, wait a minute, I don't sell this to anyone in California. Not that anyone would buy a box of my cigars from a brick and mortar in California because they would have paid the California taxes on that cigar, but still, one way or the other, I just don't like I said, they're just making this shit up as they go along. And I think the worst part about this, I don't even know if this has been discussed publicly. I was actually surprised that maybe Halfwheel did cover this, but do you know the reason why this law got jammed in the way it got jammed in so quickly? Because what they're using is a COVID law that was passed to protect public health, and that law expires at the first of the year. So they used that law as the mechanism for them to pass this anti-premium cigar law. It's like
it's
so
we
ridiculous.
Talked about it a little bit. It's like an emergency regulation from them.
Right.
They skipped the comment period and everything.
Emergency regulation that they're using the authority based on a COVID regulation that they passed in 2020 is the mechanism that they're using to make this legal. So they didn't have to go through the normal channels to propose a regulation, go through committee, go through comment, all the things that you normally would have to do. They use this COVID law to jam this down the throats of everyone. They're really they're a distasteful state government. They really are.
Yeah, Pete was on with us 2 weeks ago, and he's like, I got a new monster coming out. It's a California exclusive. I'm like, oh, what is it? And he's like, it's called the Scum.
Yeah. Yeah. Pete still operates from California, doesn't he? I think he does.
I think he split it. So I think he does West Coast operations out of Los Angeles, and I think he does East Coast stuff out of Miami. If I remember, like 2 shows ago, he talked about that.
Right.
I think that's how he does it. But yes, yeah, technically, I think he's still officially based. But yeah, we had a few more in here, but I don't know. I keep going back to the Angry Goat one because we all really liked that one.
Yeah, I like the name Angry Goat.
I like that, and that's actually probably the most feasible one to use. I think the Angry Goat's the one we're gonna go with. How do we feel about this group?
I don't care what they think. I like it. Period.
Yeah.
There you go. And wins the box. She wins
and
the
wins
box.
it. And send me a DM on Facebook with your information. I'll get that out to you right away. And congratulations. And thank you for playing along. And thank you to everyone for playing along. That was a real fun time. See, Steve, you got some great ideas here. You know, if you ever get a little dry up there and you need some juice, there you go. Angry Goat.
Angry Goat. Well, we're approaching the witching hour. I see it's 9 o'clock. And
I know. We are getting towards the end of the show. We are running out of time. So, first of all, Steve, thank you very much for being here with us. I appreciate you taking the time as always. And to everyone else, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for listening along, joking along, having some fun with us. It's always great to get out of reality for a little while every now and again. So thank you guys. It's been a great show. It's been a great time. Don't forget to like and subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts and on our YouTube channel. And don't forget to go to SmokinTabacco.com for more news, reviews, and updates from the cigar industry. With that, I say good night, and we'll see you next